a My Froggy Stuff mashup. It's September, the leaves are changing color, and our dolls are getting ready for the fall. From pumpkins to the pumpkin patch, we've got you covered with some of our favorite fall DIY videos. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Here is a quick craft. I am going to make lollipops for a doll using acrylic paint, Mod Podge, plastic bags, and toothpicks. I start by mixing Mod Podge and a drop of paint. On a plastic bag, paint a straight line going all the way across. And I want the line to be kind of thick, so I just dab the paint on. Then I add a layer of orange, then white. Allow it to dry. While waiting, I cut and sand my toothpicks round. Then carefully peel it from the plastic. Begin twisting it, then begin to swirl it around. At the end, gently push in the toothpick, place it on the plastic bag, and lightly brush with a thin layer of Mod Podge. Or we can wrap it around the toothpick to make candy corn lollipops. For a little extra, cut semicircles of cardboard so that the holes of the corrugated cardboard are facing up. Cover with paper, stack and glue them together, glue it to a cardboard base, place the lollipops inside the holes to make a lollipop stand. Or make holes in a paper tube, glue it onto a base, add something on top like a fun pencil topper to make a standing lollipop stand. And you're done. Happy crafting! I am going to make a small pumpkin patch for a doll using recycled cardboard, scrapbook paper, skinny sticks, fabric, cotton balls, twigs, popsicle sticks, craft paint, a needle and thread, moss, and glue. I start by cutting a piece of cardboard to use as my base. And I'm choosing to give it 2 layers to give it more stability. Glue together popsicle sticks and skinny sticks to make a fence. Glue them to the outside of the cardboard. I can choose to paint the fence with craft paint. I'm choosing to lightly brush on the paint to give the fence a little texture. Glue on scrapbook paper or paint the bottom to look like soil. Glue small twigs and moss around the fence. And if twigs are hard to come by, I just like to use these wreaths from the craft store. Glue together popsicle sticks and paint them to make a sign to end up with a pumpkin patch, but without any pumpkins. I can use store-bought mini pumpkins. During the fall season, they can be found in a variety of sizes and colors. I can make a pumpkin by cutting a square of fabric, fold it in half, then in half again, and then one more time so the corners meet and it makes a triangle. Cut a curve off the triangle to make a circle. Take a needle and thread and knot one end, sew a straight stitch all the way around the edge. When I come full circle, I put the needle back through the opening that's right before the knot, and then I pull it and it starts to make a gather. Stuff with cotton balls or pillow fluff, then pull the string tight to close the opening. Tie a knot to secure it. While still attached, I push the needle through the center and out the back, then around the side and back through the center. Giving the string a gentle pull will start to make segments in the pumpkin. I continue going around. Tie a knot after going full circle, trim off the excess, apply glue to the center, push a small twig into the center, along with a curly piece of moss, and allow them to dry to make a lightweight and easy to resize pumpkin. And you're done.
Happy crafting!
Here is a fun, festive craft perfect for the fall holidays. I am going to make candy apples and caramel apples for a doll using beads, toothpicks or mini wooden dowels, craft paint, Mod Podge, small containers like those from a gumball machine, craft foam, a smooth plastic surface, and glue. I start by finding the right bead for an apple. Cut a toothpick or wooden dowel down to size, place glue on one end to glue the dowel inside the bead. When using a bead with a larger hole, I fill the empty space with glue and allow it to dry. I find a small container to use as a bowl. If it has trouble staying up, I just glue it to a piece of cardstock or a note card. Pour a generous amount of craft paint. Holding the bead by the toothpick, I put it into the paint and swirl it around just enough to get it covered, and set it onto a plastic surface to dry. Cut craft foam into tiny pieces, mixing different shades of brown to make chopped walnuts or pecans. Tint Mod Podge with a little craft paint, add a little water to thin it out. Dip the dried apples into the mixture, gently tap off the excess paint, sprinkle with the chopped foam, or dip the beads into a warm brown to make caramel apples. Make a chocolate brown Mod Podge, apply it to the apples with a toothpick, allow them to dry overnight before removing them from the plastic, and you're done.
Happy crafting!
I am going to make pumpkins for a doll using Mod Podge, twigs, craft paint, glue, and cornstarch dough and a spoon, mixing 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, 2 tablespoons of baking soda, and 1 tablespoon of water. Mix. After microwaving for 20 seconds, I mix it, begin kneading when it's cool enough to touch, and if my dough is a little too crumbly, then I wet my fingertips with water and continue kneading. When it's the consistency of Play-Doh, I could pull off a small piece, roll it between my fingers, then using the side of a spoon, start at the top and I roll along the edge. And I just continue to do this all the way around to make those segments in the pumpkin. Push a stick into the center and I go all the way through, almost like I'm making a bead. Bake in the oven at 175 until completely dry. And be careful not to make them too thick because it may cause cracking. Once cooled, begin painting them with craft paint. Seal them with Mod Podge, apply glue to the top, then use a small piece of a twig for a stem. Allow them to dry, use craft paint to make a face if you like, and you're done.
Happy crafting!
am going to make a pumpkin-inspired skirt for a doll using fabric, elastic, ribbon, trim, safety pins, a needle and thread, or a sewing machine. I start by measuring fabric around the doll, and I want it to wrap around about 3 times. I cut it to the desired length, then sew around the raw edges to prevent fraying. When using a sewing machine, I use a zigzag stitch. On the top and bottom of the longest sides of the fabric, with the good side facing down, I fold over the edge and sew a straight stitch all the way across to make a casing, which is kind of like a pocket to hold the elastic. After sewing the top and bottom, attach a safety pin to the end of elastic, then push it through the casing. Gather it until it is just big enough to fit around the doll. With the good side on the inside, match up the ends, using a pin to secure it if needed. Repeat for the other end, then sew a straight line from the top all the way to the bottom. Finish off the edge with a zigzag stitch, flip it right side out to make a cute little pumpkin or bubble skirt. Make them smaller for sleeves, make it thinner and longer for a dress, add ribbon for a splash of color. When adding the elastic, I can pull the elastic tight on one of the ends so the opening is closed, leaving the other side larger. Flip it right side out, add ribbon, trim, or lace to make a pumpkin-shaped bag, and I just stuff it with cotton balls to help it hold its shape. And you're done.
Happy crafting!
I am going to make a slice of pie for a doll using thin cardboard from a cereal box, chalk pastels or makeup, plastic bottle tops, craft paint, cream colored cardstock, a nail file, Mod Podge or clear school glue, toilet paper, and glue. I start by cutting open a cereal box. Depending on what size pie I would like to make, I choose a plastic bottle top. Trace the bottle top on the cardboard, cut them out. Now, to make a pie for a 12-inch doll or smaller, I need 1 circle. But for an 18-inch doll, I use 2. Then I take a circle and I cut it right in half. Then in half again and again. After all the pieces are cut, begin stacking and gluing them together. Sand the edges smooth, paint them, place the slice onto cream cardstock, cut a triangle, glue the slice to the front, fold the back up, trim off the sides. Then I begin wrinkling the paper. Roll back the extra paper at the top, then glue into place. Lightly dust the crust with chalk pastel or makeup. Seal it with a layer of Mod Podge or clear school glue. Tear up pieces of toilet paper. Add water and glue. Stir until mushy. Take a small amount and squeeze off the excess liquid. Then place it on top for whipped cream. Allow it to dry. And you're done.
Happy crafting!
Thank you for joining us for this My Froggy Stuff mashup. Let us know what mashups you would like to see in the comments down below. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at My Froggy Stuff and the Frog Blog, and we will see you next time. Bye!
I can't promise anything. If everyone knew all the things I could do, shoot me down, I'm back on my feet. 'Cause all I really need